What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode here on the Pirates podcast. My name is Nathan, and welcome to the off season. It's been a while since I have actually been able to upload an episode. Started out a new job. It's going pretty well. But yeah, we're here. The off season officially can get going. Arbitration hearings are going to be basically here before you know it. But yeah. The World Series is over. Dodgers go back-to-back. They let Miguel Rojas and his whopping $5.5 million, big money, tie the game. So if you're mad at the Dodgers for doing that, you can blame the Blue Jays for blowing it themselves. But I don't even want to talk about the World Series right now because I could care less about who won. It's off-season time, and it's about time for Jim Bowden's annual top 50 free agents and where he thinks they are going to go list. So, for today's episode, I want to go through Jim Bowden's list. I wrote down the names that he has the Pirates possibly as a best fit, the names he has them maybe going in on that as possible fits. This is also not Jim Bowden saying these are going to happen. He does this every year. He has these most magical targets, and they just never happen. He gives some contract predictions of what you could expect a contract to look like for whoever gets this player, and of course, the teams that you could see in the mix for these guys. So, out of the 50, he had the Pirates as a possible match on a whopping 6 of them. 3 hitters, 3 pitchers. So today, we are going to go through each one. I'm going to go through what they did last season and actually say if they would be a realistic option that I would personally be fine with. I know I'll probably get some comments down below saying why they shouldn't go after some of these guys, and I completely understand because a lot of these guys are the typical guys you would think the Pirates would go after, with some exceptions, because as we'll get to a theme of this, Jim Bowden loves multi-year deals, and the Pirates just don't do that. So if you hear a multi-year deal, sadly just throw that option out the window. But let's get into this with the biggest fish that he has the Pirates as a possible fit. Coming in at 24th out of 50. Yes, 24th out of 50. He cracked the top half of the list. Trent Grisham of the New York Yankees. Well, the former New York Yankee, because we don't know where he's going. So, Trent Grisham listed as his top fits in this order. So the first team is the best, going to his last possible fit of the top teams he has. The New York Yankees. The Pittsburgh Pirates come in at second on Jim Bowden's list. The Colorado Rockies, the Minnesota Twins, who are now managed by Derek Shelton, by the way. How about that? The Chicago White Sox, and the Los Angeles Angels. Now, here's something interesting about Trent Grisham, looking at those teams. Yankees, Pirates, Rockies, Twins, White Sox, Angels. The Yankees are probably going to be the only team that's good. So, Jim Bowden seems to have the Trent Grishams of the world going to a team there he can guarantee a starting spot. Because we all know Trent Grisham did have a career year this year. He only batted .235, so if you're not a fan of batting averages below .250, he might not be the player for you. But he also hit 34 home runs, so maybe that counteracts. Also with an 811 OPS and a 125 OPS plus. But seeing Trent Grisham as a possible fit for basically the dumpster teams, per se the Pirates are there again, which we're all expecting them to, sadly. The Colorado Rockies, who are going to be bad. They were horrible this year. The Minnesota Twins, who basically sold off everyone and brought in the best tank commander manager of all time, Derek Shelton, to go in there. The Chicago White Sox, they're going to be bad again. And the LA Angels, I have no clue if they're bad or good. They act like they're good. They act like they're bad. Who knows? They're going to be around 500 yet again. So, Trent Grisham, I think he's going to the Yankees. I think he'll just go back. I think it's a comfortable situation for him. I mean, I would love it the Pirates got him. Now, I understand what people might be skeptical of what he did this year compared to what he's done in the past, because this year was his best year of his career, put up a 3.5 WAR according to Baseball Reference, played in 143 games, 581 plate appearances, 494 official ABs. He hit .235, 348, 464, and an OPS equaled 811. Of course, the 125 OPS plus is his highest of his career since 2020, where he had a 123 OPS plus. But of course, that was in the COVID season. So he played with the Brewers in 2019, the Padres from 2020 to 2023, and it's now been 2 years with the New York Yankees. Last season with the Yankees in 2024, so a year ago, compared to what he did this season, in 2024 he had a .4 WAR, and then his average is 190, 290, 385, and then the OPS only equaled 675. Also only hit 9 home runs. He was kind of also in that bench role, so he did not start as much, but this year he was basically elevated to that guy to get more starts, and his OPS went up to an 811 and the 34 home runs, the highest of his career, his highest since 2022 with the Padres, where he hit 17. Trent Grisham would be a guy that I'd be fine with. Now, the contract that Jim Bowden has Trent Grisham getting, you wouldn't think it's too crazy because it's not a lucrative, absurd, multi-year contract. It's a whopping 2 years. 2 years, $30 million, so you'd be paying Trent Grisham $15 per. Trent Grisham would you be comfortable with paying Trent Grisham that much money? Trent Grisham is coming off his age 28 season. He's going to be turning 29 during the season coming up. Would you be comfortable with that? I mean, I think I would, but at the same time, well, actually, no, I'm looking at his age. He actually just turned 29 November 1st, so happy birthday, Trent Grisham, if you're watching this. Now, are you willing to take the gamble and pay $15 million a year for Trent Grisham? With the Pirates' payroll, I don't know if they would actually be comfortable doing that because we all know they don't like to do that. Now, if they were to trade a Mitch Keller and they could just replace that money with a Trent Grisham contract, who knows? I would personally be fine with Grisham at the prospect that they can keep a Mitch Keller as well, but we all know the Pirates don't know how to do that properly. But yeah. Trent Grisham is the first guy, probably the biggest name on this list based off what he did last season, not linked, but approached as a possibility for the Pirates. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think the Pirates would be stupid not to call, because I think Trent Grisham is a very gettable name. He's not a superstar. He's not one of those top guys, I think, in this class. I think a lot of teams might be weary of a Trent Grisham just because of what he has looked like in the past. He's a serviceable... Don't get me wrong. Grisham is a very serviceable guy. He's won 2 Gold Gloves, so if you Pirates love their Gold Glove awards, so there's that. He won in 2020 and 2022. But, 3.5 WARs is highest, coming off a year prior with a .4, 1.8 before that, a 2.7, 3.1, 2.5, and a .6 his rookie year. So he's been an above-average player his whole career. I mean, he did go with a stint with the Padres, and then the first year with the Yankees where his OPS was not able to crack 700. In 2022, he had an OPS of a 626. In 2023, he had a 666, and in 2024, like I said previously, a 675. Now this year, like I said, career year, 811 OPS, of course, the 34 home runs. That is going to be the point where people are like, okay, Pirates need a bat, let's go out and get him. I think he could be a guy, also saw a career high in slugging at a 464. I think Trent Grisham would be a cool name. Will it happen? Probably not. So let's move on. The next guy that Jim Bowden has linked to the Pittsburgh Pirates or as a possible fit, as I should just start saying that as a possible fit, ranked 27th. I don't know how I couldn't say that properly. Ranked 27th, right behind Trent Grisham. First baseman, outfielder, or DH possibility, Ryan O'Hearn. Now, Ryan O'Hearn is actually a name that I was seeing Pirates fans on social media during the trade deadline when people thought we should still buy even though we were bad. I don't get that because he was going to be a free agent anyway, so he'd just dip. Ryan O'Hearn's coming off a all-star campaign in 2025. He was also traded from the Orioles to the San Diego Padres. Ryan O'Hearn's top fits, he only has 4 teams. It goes the Padres retaining him. He also has the Pirates yet again coming in second place, and then the Twins, and then the Rays. So the Twins are involved with 2 of these guys already. So Ryan O'Hearn, first base outfielder, DH. Ryan O'Hearn coming off of a season where he hit with, of course, the Orioles and Padres. 281 average, a 366 OBP, a 437 slugging, an 803 OPS plus of 125. Also had 17 home runs and a 2.4 WAR, according to Baseball Reference. So this is where kind of people are like, okay, maybe the power did drop off in San Diego. It did, and that's kind of worrisome for some teams. With the Orioles, he hit 283, 374, 463, and the OPS was 837. Just add that OBP and slugging. With the Padres, 276 average, a 350, a 387, then the OPS went up to 736. He also, his OPS plus compared from Baltimore to San Diego, Baltimore 136, San Diego 105. So he was above average no matter what, but he looked more like a 2024, he looked more like a member of the 2025 Pirates type and with the Padres, not the Orioles. Home run wise, this is what's kind of concerning for some. 13 home runs with the Orioles. That's what helped him become an all-star. And then with the Padres, he only hit 4. That can be kind of worrisome because we all know PNC Park can be a tough place for some to hit home runs. Do you see Ryan O'Hearn as that type of a player? Personally, I think he would be a welcome addition. He hits lefty. The Pirates desperately, I think, need to try to add some lefties to the lineup that, of course, can hit the ball hard and far. I think he has a possibility to do that. He's been a Royal, an Oriole, and a Padre, like I said. He was basically with the Royals the majority of his career before going to Baltimore for the past 3 seasons. And then this year, we don't know where he's going. Now, Ryan O'Hearn is 32 years old currently. He's going to be turning 33 during the season. He is a guy also on a multi-year deal, slightly cheaper than Trent Grisham's contract that Jim Bowden has. 2 years, $24 million, so you're paying $12 million a year for Ryan O'Hearn. Is that a name that you'd be comfortable with? I mean, the thing is with Ryan O'Hearn, I would like it because he adds pop, but where are you going to play him? First base, you have Spencer Horwitz, who's coming off of a very solid season, probably the best season of a Pirate hitter this year, I would argue. Outfield, do you want him playing the outfield? I don't know because he's mainly played first base and right field. Now, that would solve something in right field, but then you would have to mix and match because I'm assuming McCutchen is coming back. If McCutchen comes back, he's probably just going to be DH, or you're going to have to find a role for McCutchen where he can play every couple days as a DH and not every day. If that's the case, Ryan O'Hearn slides in as your DH, or Brian Reynolds goes as your DH and you can throw Ryan O'Hearn into right field. So, Ryan O'Hearn is a little bit more of a tricky situation if you want to try to figure out where people can play. Or there's a crazy universe where I was thinking about this. Ryan O'Hearn plays first, and then they play Spencer Horwitz at second base like they tried the final week. Now, Spencer Horwitz has played some second base, but I would much rather play him at first, okay? But Ryan O'Hearn, I'm welcome to the addition. However, I don't see them yet again doing a 2-year deal because the Pirates just don't do that. And until we see it happen, it's hard to believe any of this. So, moving on to the third name, kind of the bigger name based off what he has done in the past. And, of course, the final batter we have on his list, coming in at 29th. So, he has the Pirates' possible fits as 3 top 30 hitters, or 3 top 30 guys overall, but these are Ryan O'Hearn and this next guy in the bottom half of his top 50. Coming in at number 29th on his list, Luis Arias, first baseman and DH to the Pirates as a possibility. Now, the Pirates actually rank 3rd on his possibilities. It goes the Padres retaining him, the Sacramento Athletics, Oakland A's fans, I wish they were still there too. The Pittsburgh Pirates come in at 3rd, so your Pirates, the Colorado Rockies, the White Sox, and the Angels. This reminds me of the Trent Grisham thing. He has a lot of bad teams being on Luis Arias. Now, the Padres, I think they're going to be good. The Athletics, I think they're a lot better. I think they're in the upper tier now because we're starting to see some growth with the A's this season. People are starting to okay, I like this young core. I think the A's are in the upper tier of those bad teams, but then you're going to have a team like the Pirates in there. We don't know what they're the pitching staff's good. The offense sucks. The Pirates could be good next year. Who knows? But they just need to get these bats. Luis Arias is a name that I would be intrigued by, but he's not the top of my list. And that might sound crazy, but he's coming off of a year where he hit 292. Sure, that's great. But he was kind of league average when it came to his stats. A 327 OBP, a 392 slugging, a 719 OPS, and a 99 OPS plus. Very Pirates-like numbers, especially in the OPS plus and OPS department. He's not lighting the world on fire. A 1.3 WAR, only 8 home runs, because Luis Arias provides something that the Pirates he doesn't provide something that the Pirates need. They need slug. They need a guy that can hit some homers. Luis Arias does not hit homers. His career high is 10, back in 2023. But at the same time, Luis Arias hit 354 that year. This year he hit 292, which was surprisingly the lowest of his career, which is saying something if 292 is your lowest batting average yet. But yeah, with 2024, with his first year with the Padres, his OPS plus compared to this year's 99 was a 108. So he's kind of been around this range. But last year he also hit 318. Well, not last year, but 2024 he hit 318. So with Luis Arias, it's like he's a first baseman DH. He's played second base in the past, but he's listed in third as well. But Jim Bowden thinks he's best fit as a first base or DH. And the Pirates don't need a first baseman. And I personally would not be that okay with Arias as your everyday DH because he doesn't have power. Sure, he has the contact, but the Pirates desperately need slug. They need it. I see people go on social media and say, let's go get Luis Arias. That's fine with me if you add some power to the lineup, or if you get guys like Cruz and Reynolds back to where you think they should be, hitting home runs. Reynolds, you should at least be getting 25 out of. Cruz, he hit the 20 this year, but you want to try to see him get to 30 and hit better this year overall because it was a bad year for O'Neal Cruz. If you can put Luis Arias at the bottom of a lineup to get on base for these guys that you should trust to hit, I think that's a little bit better of a fit for Luis Arias. But like I said, would you rather have the pop that Andrew McCutchen brings every so often or the contact that Luis Arias will only get singles? It's kind of weird. It's a weird situation. He has Arias at a 2-year, $30 million deal, so 15 per, just like Trent Grisham. I don't think the Pirates do that. I think this is the first name on this list that I would have loved when he was hitting 354. I mean, he did hit 292, and you can't complain about that. But like I said, his OPS plus of a 99, worst of his career, a 719 OPS, tied for the worst of his career, where he tied it with the Marlins in 2024. That's very Pirates-esque. That's very Pirates of what we already have. So I don't know if this is an upgrade. I think this is just adding to the island of misfit toys, you could call it. And Merry Christmas, it's coming up. We're officially past Halloween, so it's Christmas time. Sorry, I skipped Thanksgiving. So moving on to the first pitcher of 3. It's funny, 2 of these guys were Reds last year. He has Emilio Pagan coming in at 33rd on his top prospects. 33rd on his top 50 free agents list as a fit for the Pirates. He has a little bit more names. This is one of the more packed teams. They have the Reds retaining him, the Athletics again, of course the Pirates yet again at 3rd behind the A's, the San Francisco Giants, the Washington Nationals, and the Colorado Rockies in on a possible fit for Emilio Pagan. Now, Emilio Pagan is a name that I would honestly be kind of curious to add to a bullpen. He is a right-handed pitcher, and it's funny, none of these guys he has as fits are lefties. So no lefty starters, no lefty relievers. And you desperately, I think they will probably try to sign a lefty starter. Ben Cherington always does it. He'll probably also need to try to find maybe a lefty reliever for some depth. But yeah, Emilio Pagan coming off a 2-4 record this year. I don't care about your pitching records. A 2.88 ERA, 2.88 ERA, not 2.88, 2.88 in 70 games. 32 saves for the Cincinnati Reds this year in 68 2/3 innings pitched, and 81 strikeouts for Emilio Pagan. This was probably one of the best years of his career, I would say. He had the second highest WAR of his career in a season. He had exactly a WAR of 2 this year, and in 2019 he had a 2.3. Emilio Pagan would be a very interesting name. Of course, in 2019 he had 20 saves. That was the second most saves of his career until this year, where he had 32 with the Reds. His WHIP was below a 1 at a .917, a career WHIP of 1.70. I think Emilio Pagan would be fine. I think this is as I was about to say realistic, it's not realistic because he has him coming in at a 2-year, $22 million deal. I'm not comfortable with the Pirates paying a reliever $11 million per year. Now, we saw them do it with Chapman, and Chapman was really good with the Pirates, and surprisingly didn't move on from Chapman that year to trade him, which kind of odd. But the Pirates were kind of in it at the trade deadline, so they couldn't. So, do you want to go after Pagan and give him 11 per? I think that's kind of a risky business, especially with a team on a tight-knit payroll that probably needs bats more. Well, they do need bats more. I'd rather spend this $11 million on that Ryan O'Hearn type, on a Trent Grisham type. Well, I don't really know about Luis Arias, but probably Grisham and O'Hearn more so than Emilio Pagan. So Emilio Pagan coming off of a great year, I just don't see him as the greatest fit for the Pirates right now. Their bullpen could add some names, but at the same time, I trust what Dennis Santana did. I trust if they're going to keep Ashcraft in the bullpen, maybe spot starts. I also liked what I saw from Isaac Mattson this year. Now, do you trust Mattson to do it again? I hope so, but at the same time, could this make sense for Emilio Pagan? Yes. Do I think it makes sense for the Pirates to do it from a budget aspect because we are cheap and we all know that? Probably not, because I don't like the idea of paying a reliever $11 million for 2 years. So, yeah, 11 per for $22 million over 2 years. So, Emilio Pagan, sadly, I'm going to say no on this one, even though I'd be fine with it. But moving on to a name that's kind of intriguing, and these last two guys might actually be realistic names, and they're also both relievers. He has Ryan Helsley, former Cardinal. We paid him a lot against the Cardinals. Then he got traded to the Mets. So this past year was kind of rocky for him, coming off an ERA of 4.5 in 58 games, only 21 saves, a whip of a 1.5, plus the .36 after that. So 1.536 for him, a .1 WAR. Now, it's a story of two halves for him. With the Cardinals, of course, had a 3 ERA and 21 saves and 29 total games finished for him. With the Mets, though, his WAR of 1.0 exactly with the Cardinals went down to a negative .9 with his stint with the Mets. His ERA with the Cardinals was a 3. His ERA with the Mets was a 7.2. Total games with the Cardinals, 36. With the Mets, 22. Games finished, 29. 7. 0 saves with the Mets as well. His whip with both teams. With the Cardinals, a 1.389. With the Mets, a 1.8 on the dot, so almost a whip of 2, just 200 points off for Ryan Helsley there. Ryan Helsley has been very good in the past, though. In 2024, an all-star, 2.04 ERA, that is, finished a league high, National League high, 62 games, and led the entire baseball with 49 total saves. And in 2022, he was also an all-star. He had a 1.25 ERA and 19 saves in a total of 33 games finished and 54 games pitched. Ryan Helsley would be interesting because he's the typical Pirates maybe bank on a reclamation project that teams might be scared of. He has the top fits for Helsley, as this is actually funny, the Pirates as the top fit on his list. So this is actually the only player that the Pirates ranked number 1 for a guy on his list. And also Helsley comes in at 37th, by the way. I don't know if I forgot to say that. And then he has the Athletics after the Pirates, the Detroit Tigers, the San Francisco Giants, and the Tampa Bay Rays. I think Helsley would be cool. Now, contract projected 1 year, $10 million. So it's a 1-year deal. Checks one box. $10 million. That's kind of the same thing what we saw for Aroldis Chapman. I think Helsley's intriguing. If it's 1 year like this, I think I'd do it. Because if you can bank on Helsley doing what he did with the Cardinals, I don't really know about this past year, but in 2024 especially, even though with the Cardinals he's still pretty decent, you can pair him with Dennis Santana out of the back half of your bullpen. Maybe you also, if the Pirates more than likely are bad again, you can flip Helsley if he has a good year. Who knows? I like Helsley as an option. I'm not going to lie. So I actually might say this is a yes for Ryan Helsley on if I would be fine with him being a Pirate. So moving on to our final player. I didn't really have much to add about these bullpen guys. Not really much to bring up. The last name on this list is Nick Martinez, coming in at 39th. Another former Red, just like Emilio Pagan, both of which are free agents now. So he has the Reds as number 1, just like Pagan, to retain him. Then he has the Pirates at number 2. So the Pirates are on number 2 on a lot of these players. Grisham, O'Hearn, and of course, Nick Martinez now. The Athletics, the Rockies, and the Twins follow. So Nick Martinez is a guy you could honestly throw in the rotation or the bullpen. He's done both. He's coming off of a year, kind of a mid-year for him. A 4.45 ERA, 40 games, 26 of those were starts, 165 and 2/3 innings pitched, and 116 strikeouts. Had a whip of a 1.207 and a 2.3 WAR. And if you're wondering what his record was, it was 11 and 14. Now, with Nick Martinez, He started his career with the Texas Rangers from 2014 to 2017. Then he went to Japan from 2018 to 2021. Came back to the States in 2022 to pitch with the Padres in 2022 and 2023. Then went to the Reds in 24, and then this past season in 25. Last year with the Reds in 2024 was his best year. He had a 3.10 ERA, and then this year went back up to a 4.45. So ever since coming back to Japan in 2022, this was the first season that Martinez touched an ERA above 4 at a 4.45. With the Padres in 22 at 3.47, then at 3.43, then with the Reds in 2024 at 3.10, his career low, and then he has his career, not a career high, but his career high since coming back to the MLB at a 4.45. Now, he's also finished only 2 games this year. Like I said, he's a guy you can throw in the bullpen as well. He does not have any saves. He did not have any with the Reds at all. He did have some saves with the San Diego Padres, but only 9 total in 2 seasons. He's not a closer. This is a guy that the Pirates could definitely plug into a pitching role, either in the starting rotation or the bullpen. Nick Martinez is a guy also, like per se, they were to move on from Mitch Keller. This could maybe be that yearly veteran pickup. Now, he's not a left-hander. Don't get me wrong. I think the Pirates desperately try to get a left-handed veteran every year. We've seen it in the past, especially I think with Heaney this year. Quintana's been it. Rich Hill. You get these old guys every year, righty or lefty. Nick Martinez as a righty, I think could fit this mold as the guy to fill in for a veteran leadership role, even though I don't want him to be a leader of this team. But the Pirates just like to do that every year. Now, he has Nick Martinez at a 1-year deal as well, so another one that is realistic, but it is also at $11 million. Do you like the idea of paying Nick Martinez $11 million coming off a ERA in a season of 4.45? He did also have a 2.3 WAR, which was the second highest of his career, so that's something. And his highest WAR seasons have been the last 2 years in 24 and 25 with the Reds. So, it's interesting. Now, would I pay $11 million for a pitcher? That's also the thing. I don't know, because like I've said in this video, in this episode that is, they need bats. The pitching staff, I think, is fine. If you want to throw Martinez in the bullpen, that's fine as well. I do think the Pirates are going to go out and get a pitcher because they always do. At least get one. I think it's smart to bring in pitchers because why not add to what your best bet is, your pitching staff? Also, you want to get depth every year to add to the pitching staff. But this team desperately needs bats, and I don't know if it's that smart to spend $11 million. Even though I just said I would do 1 for 10 for Ryan Helsley, I don't know if I'd do 2 of these guys. I don't know if I'd do Nick Martinez for that much. I think they'll go a cheaper option for a maybe starting pitching role, especially if Mitch Keller goes, because I think they need to use a lot more funds, especially if Mitch Keller gets moved. If Mitch Keller per se is not moved, all these funds should be going towards bats and maybe 1 or 2 pitchers. That's it. They're probably going to trade Mitch Keller, though, and if they do that, a majority, and I mean basically all the funds, go to the hitters. Go to add some bats. Go get a Trent Grisham. Go get an O'Hearn. If you want, go get a Luis Arias and an O'Hearn. Add some pop and some contact. These are all names that I just went through. Grisham, O'Hearn, Arias, Emilio Pagan, Ryan Helsley, and Nick Martinez. Especially Grisham, O'Hearn, and Arias, they should be realistic options for the Pirates. But the story of this episode, and I know I'm running a little bit longer than like I usually like to do, but the story, the overall conclusion I want to get to with this, until we see the Pirates go out and do a multi-year deal, more than 1 year, it's all we ask. More than 1 year for a guy, add some incentives, add a player option, try to get them to stay. Until we see that, it's impossible to believe any of this. But yeah, this was just a fun exercise I want to do. I just wanted to go through this list because I was just reading it, and I found it interesting that he actually had the Pirates in on some of these guys because some of them, majority of them, actually maybe all of them, would help this team in 2025. I would love a Trent Grisham. I would love a Ryan O'Hearn. I would love a Luis Arias, even though he doesn't have power. I would love him. I would love Pagan out of the bullpen. Helsley, Nick Martinez too at a point. But until we see the Pirates go out and do it, there's no reason to believe they will. Because what proof have they had? It's been since 2016 when they signed Ivan Nova to a 3-year deal. That's the last time we've seen a multi-year deal for the Pirates. It is absurd. But yeah, a little bit longer of an episode, so I hope you enjoyed this. I think I'm going to try to at least do 1 a week. Been getting busy with the schedule, so hoping to get back to more of a try my best to do it. But yeah, thank you all for watching this episode of the podcast. Hoping to do some more of these during the offseason to kind of just track what happens. If the Pirates make signings or trades, I'll be there to do it. Maybe we'll talk ARB hearings coming up soon because I think those are actually coming up next. Winter meetings are about in a month too, so it's going to get pretty exciting to see what happens. But yeah, my name's Nathan. Make sure to subscribe down below. We are almost at 400 subscribers. I also produce some MLB content in there as well. I have a script I'm working on trying to get done. Like I said, busy with work about some of the Japanese guys coming over, Akamoto and Imai. Murakami I did a video previously on, but I might throw them in this just for fun. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Means a lot. Make sure to subscribe down below. Leave your comments down below as well. What you think the Pirates do. These names make sense for the Pirates? Let me know down below, and let me know some names down below. And if we get a couple comments, maybe I'll make a video on maybe some trade targets, because I'm kind of thinking about doing that as well, because there's a couple names that are kind of out there where it's like, I'd be interested in them. So, thank you all for watching. As always, have a good one. Let's go, Bucks. I'll see you next time.